The arena was silent, save for the hum of the force field dome and the slow, deliberate steps of two warriors facing off beneath twin suns. One was the reigning champion of the Zelthari Empire commander Kavira, 7 feet tall, skin-like. Obsidian stone, blade forged from neutronium alloy, and 100 victories etched into the bones sewn into her armor. The other captain Reese Calder. Human, limping, bleeding, alone. Kavira narrowed her glowing eyes. You should have died 2 strikes ago. Why do you continue to stand? Reese wiped blood from his brow, grinned and shrugged. Because I haven't fallen yet. The crowd of alien dignitaries, soldiers, and warlords murmured. Humanity was new to the galactic stage, small, loud, chaotic, and foolishly brave. But even they didn't expect this lone human to last this long in the duel of surrender. A barbaric. Custom forced upon Earth after its failed rebellion. Kavira snarled. You were given a chance to kneel. You refused. Now you crawl. Reese shifted his weight. His left leg was clearly wounded deep slash from her blade still leaking blood. Fabric torn, muscle exposed. Yet he stood, not proud, not defiant, but calm, and somehow amused. Kavira lunged. Her blade sliced the air, precise and deadly. Reese barely dodged. The second strike grazed his arm, slicing his sleeve. The third Kavira feinted, ducked. Low, and swung directly at his injured leg. The crowd leaned forward, breath held. The blade made contact. A crack echoed high-pitched, crystalline. Kavira's eyes widened. Her blade had shattered, not bent. Not dull dot shattered dot. Reese looked down at the broken fragments, then up at her, and smiled. You were aiming for weakness, he said softly, but you don't understand humans at all. Kavira stepped back, stunned. What? What are? You? Reese straightened. The limp was gone, his stance firm, stable, as if the injury had never existed. His voice dropped. That leg isn't flesh anymore. And then he ripped the torn fabric aside, revealing not blood or bone, but carbon titanium. Weave, grafted with neural microfibers. His entire leg had been replaced. Kavira's blade had struck a human maid, alloy stronger than her ancestral Neutronium. The crowd erupted in shock. Kavira tried to recover. You cheated! No augmentation is allowed in the duel. Reese pulled. Something from his belt, a tiny medallion. He tossed it at her feet. She picked it up. It was a Zelthari-issue combat certification token. Level 7, biotech cleared. Approved. I didn't cheat, Reese said. I just didn't tell you how much of me you already broke. Years ago, he pointed at his chest. Ribs replaced. Then his left hand. Tendons, synthetic. He tapped his skull. Right eye. Enhanced. Kavira stared at him as if seeing him for the first time. Not as a frail organic, but a human built from damage. You thought you wounded me, Reese said, stepping forward, but we don't break the way you think. He closed the distance. Kavira raised her second blade shorter, sharper, a desperate counter. She swung Reese, caught her wrist midair. With a twisting motion, he wrenched the blade from her grasp. Then, calmly, he pointed it at her throat. Yield, he whispered. Kavira didn't move. Reese leaned in closer. You were right about one thing, though. What? He grinned again. I should have died 2 strikes ago. Then he dropped the blade. Kavira collapsed to her knees. Disarmed and defeated. The arena exploded in noise. Chaos. Confusion. Zelthari soldiers shouted protests. Human diplomats rose, wide-eyed, unsure whether to cheer or run. Reese ignored them all. He looked at Kavira, still kneeling. That's what it means to be human. We lose. We bleed. We fall apart. He looked up at the skies above, the same stars that watched his world burn years ago when the Zelthari bombarded Earth's outer colonies. But then we rebuild, he said, stronger. Kavira met his gaze. For the first time in her warrior, Life, she felt something alien in her own chest. Respect. Hours later, as the human delegation left the Zelthari arena, Reese limped, not because he had to, but because it made him laugh. The leg didn't feel pain, but he wanted to remember the moment. Ambassador Liara walked beside him. You knew her blade would shatter, didn't you? I hoped, Reese said. Titanium weave's tough, but I've seen it crack before. Still worth the gamble. She shook her head. You're insane. He looked at her and winked. Human! Remember? From that day forward, in war councils and imperial halls across the galaxy, one phrase began to spread: a caution, a legend, a warning. Don't aim for their wounds. That's where they're strongest.